Welcome everyone, I am Auroresidio VA, the VTuber that doesn't gain any money, yet still spends them on VTubing. As you can see, I now have a brand new PNGTuber, made by the lovely JL Draws, or Jen the Goop Queen, and this one is themed around Pokémon. And what better occasion to celebrate this brand new model if not with an easygoing video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we won't have any scripts aside from the intro I'm doing right now, because today I will be making a tier list on one of the most debated arguments of all time, Pokémon Starters. If you already follow my channel, you should know about my Concept of Ace Pokémon video I made some time ago, where I discussed about what having an ace Pokémon implies and means for the NPCs of the series and the players. And one thing I neglected to mention, and I am still livid with myself for forgetting that, is the fact that a good bunch of players have as their ace Pokémon their first one, their starter. This isn't going to be an analysis video on Pokémon Starters, although that's an interesting topic for a future video, let me write it down, but merely a fun time where I rank them by my bias, so you can know my thought process in what I like about a starter Pokémon. I will try to bring out objective points as I go, and I will try to consider them. Unfortunately, I am a subjective bitch, so there will be times where I rank objectively good Pokémon down because me no like it, but that's just my subjective opinion. If you like any of these starters that I do not like, I hope you know that this is not meant to be a personal attack, and you are more than welcome to make your own list with your reasoning and biases about the starter Pokémon. With that said, please enjoy the show. Okay, we should be on. Alright, welcome everyone! This is the non-scripted part of the video, so I'm probably going to stumble on a few words here and there, but anyway, we can finally start the ranking of every single starter Pokémon ever. Well, except the Gen 10 ones, because the games haven't come out yet, and I really can't judge the starters without trying them. And that's a focal point of this tier list. I didn't try every single starter ever. I am doing an active effort in order to play with them, because I'm replaying the various Pokemon games. For example, recently I've played Pokemon Red with Venusaur, Pokemon Crystal with Meganium, I'm finishing Pokemon Sapphire with Blaziken, and after Leaf Green with Blastoise here, and in the replays I'm actively trying to get Pokemon that I usually do not pick, except Lucario. If there's Lucario, I'm slotting it in ASAP. I didn't play with every single one of them, but I did try most of them, and I'm still going to rank them for how ideal they are in the gameplay, because I may not know how it feels to play with them, but I did see their typings, their Pokemon moves, their whole deal, and whatnot. So this is a more vibes check, more than objective gameplay analysis for nut jokes, speedruns and whatnot. And with that said, we can start! Okay, before we start actually, let me just... because Supreme shit... look, I may think negatively of some of these starters, but shit, come on man. And that's classics. There we go. Now we can start with Kanto. Okay, so... Venusaur. Oh boy. I think I'm going to get lynched here. No, wait, I don't think I'm going to get crucified here yet, because I don't actually hate Venusaur. I know it's one of the most popular of the 3 Kanto Starters, and for a good reason. In Gen 1 it had a busted move that always critted because of how crit works in Gen 1. Venusaur in that game is nuts. It's really incredible. If it wasn't for Tentacruel, it would have been my strongest Pokemon in the team. Unfortunately, Squid. But I also do not care excessively about Venusaur. I do like the frog with a flower aesthetic, very simple, very effective, and as I said, it is probably the objectively best starter of Kanto, so if I were to be honest, I would probably have to put it in the Triple S tier. Unfortunately, I am not honest, I'm a dishonest bitch, so I will bring it in the S tier, or maybe in the A. Because here's the thing, as I said, I don't care about it too much, but I also think it's one of the most fun starters to do a run with. So you know what? S tier. I think Venusaur is one of the best starters ever made. I do not care about it too much, it's probably going to be the bottom of the S tier as we move along. There's going to be a couple in the S tier, so it's not a problem. I honestly think that Venusaur is objectively incredible. And I think if I didn't put it in the S tier, I would have had the moral honesty to at least bring it in the A tier. It would be dishonest to put it lower. Oh, don't worry, I'm not as morally sound as I sound. Even if I honestly think some of the starters deserve a higher tier, there are some stinkers that I hate. Not is like straight up hate, and I will downgrade because I hate them. And I will be honest about why I downgrade them, but I will downgrade them. So I will be honest, but not morally honest with the others. Then, Charizard. I'm gonna be honest. Charizard is one of my favorite starters ever. It's my favorite fire starter ever made, and things haven't changed ever. Charizard is just... it's just too good, man. Not as a Pokemon. As a starter in Kanto, Charizard sucks. Especially for the first 2 gyms, you have an incredibly bad time. And for the others, it doesn't do much except the grass one, for obvious reasons. But I cannot hate Charizard, man. It's a dragon, even though it's not dragon type, that breathes fire. It's so incredibly simple, yet so effective in what it does that it's not possible to hate it, man. Look, I know that Game Freak panders this Pokemon too much, giving it 200 new forms every once in a while, and making it in the spotlight way too much. I do agree with that. I cannot hate my favorite fire starter ever, man. I just love Charizard, that's it. I also love its Megas. Yes, I also consider the Megas as part of the equation. I didn't consider it for Venusaur because I just don't care about the Mega Venusaur and Mega Blastoise. But I also love the duality of the Megas of Charizard. One that accepts its flying type and becomes airborne. It has details from Charmeleon and becomes a full-on flying fire type, accepting its nature of a bird, like the off-brand new game that decided to make a bird Charizard. And we also have Mega Charizard X that denies its flying nature and instead pursues its dragon type that it agonized for so long. I just cannot hate it, man. I don't care about the Gigantamax, and as I said, they give it to this Pokemon too much stuff, but I just love it, man. Then we have Blastoise. Can I be honest? I don't care about Blastoise. And it's probably going to be because of... it's just a turtle with cannons, which is cool, don't get me wrong, base design, but I don't care. I'm not going to pretend that back in the old days, Pokemon were original and they were all good, okay, whatnot. No, there were always Pokemon that I didn't care for, both in the starters and the normal Pokemon. And one of these is Blastoise. I don't know. Wartortle is incredible looking. I do like Wartortle with its waves ears and tail that should represent eternal life or extremely long life in the folklore. Unfortunately, I am not well informed on this, so do your own research about it. I just don't really resonate with Blastoise, especially in Kanto. My main problem is that everyone keeps saying that, oh, Hoenn is full of water, there's too much water, and oh, Sinnoh is just too full of water types, there's too many. But in Kanto there's just too many water types as well, and no one brings it up. I have just too many water types that I prefer compared to the starter. I have to practically force myself in the Leaf Green playthrough I will do live to pick Blastoise, because I just don't care. I don't think that it's neat that Blastoise, its Mega, has a third cannon, gigantic, that he has to freeze his hands to the ground in order to not fly away from the recoil when it fires the Mega Cannon. But we only see that in Pokken. In the main games, they were never able to do that animation, and you have to read it in the Pokédex and, as I said, play Pokken in order to see it, which it's also why I didn't put it lower. I know that this Pokémon is incredible in speedruns and is objectively a good Pokémon, but I put it in B because I just don't care about Blastoise. I want to be able to appreciate Blastoise, but I need you to understand that I just don't. And I don't have a solid reason for why. I just prefer the other water types in Kanto. I think that are just really good. And I don't have a reason to pick Blastoise. Now, let's pass to Johto. Now, Meganium. I need to be honest with myself. I love Meganium. Bayleaf, incredible Pokemon. I love it to death. I think Meganium kinda ruined the design of Bayleaf in the sense that I prefer Bayleaf designs over Meganium. But I actually adore Meganium because even though it's objectively the worst starter you could pick for Johto and for a Kanto playthrough in Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I just can't help but love it, man. It's just a simple Pokemon ready to go. I have a weak spot for incredibly cute and happy Pokemon. If a Pokemon is cute and happy, but the reason I cannot bring it in A, it's because in its debut generation in Johto, the game seems to be designed to hate on Meganium. It's just not worth it to play with Meganium. I played with Pokémon Crystal with Meganium, and I cannot recommend it. I still have a personal bias on the Pokemon, especially for the Mr. Steak playthrough of Heart Gold and Soul Silver Nuzlocke that Team 4 Stars did. Mr. Steak! That has been one of the major reasons I love Meganium. Yeah, I've been propagandized to love this waste of coding in Johto, but I don't feel like Meganium deserves A and above, because in Johto there's just no reason to use Meganium, I'm sorry. I still think it's a neat Pokemon, but I just think it deserves more, you know? And we will talk about if it got more later, but right now it's not a talk about Meganium, it's about Johto Pokemon. And I'm going to get crucified. I never liked Typhlosion. Why is that? It's simple really. I just think the line is too boring. Because it comes from this little Cyndaquil, this little ball with eyes closed, elongated Cyndaquil with the eyes open. I do kinda like Quilava, but it's still an elongated Cyndaquil. And Versatile Explosion that it's just a longer Quilava on its feet. I'm sorry, I just never liked Typhlosion. And look, I appreciate folks that love this Pokemon dearly, but I also need you to understand that I unfortunately never liked this Pokemon, and I probably never will. I have a soft spot for Quilava, but I have a hard time liking monotype Pokemon, especially if they are starters. I need some duality. Also reason why I don't care about Blastoise, and another de facto point for Meganium, unfortunately. But now we have Feraligatr. What do I think about Feraligatr? I need you to give me a second because I forgot about something. Okay, there we go, sorry about that, I forgot to implement a Gen 2 sprite for Feraligatr. But anyway, why did I just appropriate the sprites of Feraligatr in Gen 2, because I think there's too much of a difference between Feraligatr in Gen 2 and Feraligatr in Gen 4 to be talked about as the same Pokemon, because truth be told, they're not. Feraligatr in Gen 2 is just worthless. Imagine making a physical attacking Pokemon that has almost no special attack and give it its best moves all special. Because here's the fun fact. Before Gen 4, the types of the moves were not decided by the move. They were decided by the type of the move itself. I hope you see the problem here. They gave a physical attacker with no special attack moves. And it's not like you cannot teach it physical attacking moves like Earthquake or Hyper Beam or whatnot. I needed to realize that you need to go and fish for options for Feraligatr in order to make it work in Gen 2. A normal kid playing through a game that doesn't know what it's doing, they're going to be incredibly confused on why their cool crocodile is not doing any damage. I genuinely think that Game Freak tried to make the split between special and physical for the moves and not for the types as soon as possible, because otherwise I cannot explain myself these kind of things. Reason why I think it's important to differentiate between Gen 2 Feraligatr and Gen 4, because Gen 4 Feraligatr fucks hard. I'm not fucking with you. I played recently, well not recently, last year, I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver for the first time on stream, for the first time from start to finish, and Feraligatr soloed the game for me. The other team members like Quillfish, Tauros and whatnot, they didn't see play. Feraligatr did everything. I'm not joking around. Feraligatr was the MVP for the entire run in Gen 4. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Feraligatr is genuinely fun to use. I cannot say the same thing for Gen 2, I'm sorry. I think that Feraligatr in Gen 4 was made to shine. Meganium was made to be overshadowed by the others. Objectively good for Johto, objectively maybe A or S. And Feraligatr was just made in general, but in Gen 4 it was made for it. I just think Feraligatr in Gen 2 is too much, in Gen 4, in the Johto region in Gen 4, it's just too much fun. Now we have Hoenn. I grew up with Hoenn, with Gen 3 in general, with Fire Red and Emerald, so I will be biased on this, and for biased I mean one, well not here, 2, and 3. Yeah, I adore equally all 3 of the starters. Sceptile is probably the worst one objectively of these 3, but I just love Sceptile. Grovyle is incredible looking and is an incredible starter to have in design wise. Sceptile is a little bit worse compared to Grovyle, but it's also very, very cool. I love the pods where it absorbs Solar Beam, and I just think that Sceptile is incredible looking, has a good moveset overall, especially for Gen 3 before the special and physical split happened. Leaf Blade, its signature move, unfortunately became physical, and he's not a physical attacker, but who cares. Blaziken is a mixed attacker, or as usually we know Pokemon from Hoenn with the Hoenn Curse, because usually a Pokemon that is good in both attack and special attack, then it's not going to have a good time, generally speaking, because then it's either too slow or too frail if it's speedy. But I just don't care. Blaziken is incredible fun because you can build it in so many ways in both the original games and the 3D remakes. You can make Blaziken a physical attacker, a special attacker, or a physical attacker with Bulk Up, Brick Break, and I don't know, Aerial Ace, Strength, or whatever other move. And then, as its last move, Overhit. Because Overhit is an incredible special attack move, but then it drops the special attack, and have a physical Blaziken with Overhit as its desperation move, and just have fun with it. I think Blaziken is an incredible Pokemon with incredible potential, especially because of the quote-unquote Hoenn's curse. As Swampert is just one of the best Pokemon of all time. Not the best, but you can clear the game Pokemon Emerald with just a Mudkip. Not even Swampert, just a Mudkip. And this Pokemon can solo the entire region by itself, both because of what HMs it learns, and because its stats are just genuinely good, man. I just think that they did this Pokemon incredibly well. Almost too well, to a fault. It's also based on an axolotl, so bonus points for that. And with Hoenn, they kinda did the perfect pairing in Hoenn. I genuinely love all three of the Hoenn Starters. I think they represent one of the peaks of Pokemon, because I could go for any of these three. Yeah, sure, I do have my favorite Sceptile, but I also love Swampert and Blaziken. I am very biased on this, it's probably because I replayed Pokemon Emerald over and over and over again. But still, I just think Hoenn is incredible in starter design. And then we have Sinnoh, the 4th gen. I need you to realize that my favorite gen, overall, is Gen 4. Because in Gen 4 there are some of the most incredible designs on Pokemon that I ever seen. It's genuinely one of my favorite regions and gens ever made. I am not kidding. I cannot wait to replay Diamond and Pokemon Platinum. With that said, the starters, Torterra. I don't really care too much about Torterra, but these starters have been designed intelligently, because every single starter that is weak to another Pokemon can hit the other Pokemon anyway, so they have a counter for their super effective counterpart. Torterra has the ground type, it can hit Infernape. Infernape has the fighting type, it can hit the steel type Empoleon, and Empoleon learns Ice Beam, so it can hit Torterra. A little bit of a reach, but this list is very biased, so I don't care about reach. With that said, even though I love Torterra's design and I love its typing and the thingy here it has, I'm just going to put it in A, because I don't really have a reason to go for Torterra in Gen 4 in Sinnoh. There are just too many good ground types introduced, like Gliscor and Garchomp, and also grass type like Roserade. Roserade is genuinely incredible. Even though I do like Torterra, and I will give it a try in Pokemon Diamond, absolutely, I just think that, yeah, as much as I like it, I don't quite love it. Maybe my feelings will change when I replay Pokemon Diamond, and maybe then I'll put it in S here. But until then, it's going to be an A. Very good Pokemon, very incredible looking Pokemon with incredible typing and whatnot. I just wish I liked it more. I don't really have a reason why I don't really like it too much. I also love the giant Torterras they had in the Detective Pikachu movie. I think that was a neat little thing they introduced. Anyway, Infernape. Don't worry, I will crucify myself later. Look, I know that Infernape is one of the most popular starters ever made, but I hate it. Bonferno is an incredibly mid design, and it brings down the whole Pokemon in general. I don't care about Chimchar, and I wish I liked Infernape. It has the primary colors with contrast with brown and white. It's an inspiration. It takes inspiration from Son Wukong and whatnot. I just don't like the design for whatever reason. And one thing that I hate is that it's not the most popular starter because of how incredibly cool it is, even though it is objectively incredible to use because of its stats and whatnot, but it's because Sinnoh, the region in the Diamond and Pearl games, have a critical flawed design. They lack fire types. In Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, there are only 2 fire types. Rapidash, and a starter. It's only because of that Infernape is so popular. And it's good stats, I'm going to be fair here. But not only it's just a Pokemon that I do not like, and I cannot really explain why. I just think it has too many medals, and I don't like these medals in its chest, arms, and here in the legs. I don't have an objective reason, I just don't like it. But also, it's glazed to no end because it's a necessity for problem of Sinnoh. And I just don't like it. I just think that if it wasn't for the lack of fire starters, fire Pokemon in Sinnoh, Infernape wouldn't have been as popular. So I probably have a personal vendetta for Infernape. It's not fair on Infernape, I'm sorry Infernape fans, but I just don't like it. I just cannot bring myself to like it. Empoleon, on the other hand, yeah, Gen 4 has both my favorite starter and my least favorite. Yeah, it's that simple. The coincidence is kind of funny actually. But yeah, I don't really have a particular motive why I love Empoleon so much. It's an incredibly prideful Pokemon that I love to no end. I really like Piplup and Empoleon. I don't care about Prinplup too much, but oh well. I love the trident crown for a big it has. I love its steel wings that can cut the ice. I just love its demeanor, even in the animation in Pokemon Stadium. No wait, not Pokemon Stadium. Colosseum, the Wii game. In there, Empoleon is animated exceptionally. And I just love the vibe of Empoleon. It's just an incredible typed Pokemon, incredible in the stats, incredible in the design. It's just incredible, man. Empoleon has always been my favorite starter, and I cannot wait to use it again in the Pokemon games and fan games as soon as I can. Now we have Unima, or Unova for you that played the games in English. I am Italian. I had Unima, not Unova. So, oh boy. I don't care about Superior. I don't really have a reason not to. Not even in gameplay wise. It's either ability, combos with Freestorm and whatnot, which is incredible. So if I had a way to have a guaranteed hidden ability Superior at the start of the game, I would absolutely elevate it and consider it for every run. I just don't care because it's monotype. I do think the design is really elegant, is really cool. It's just I don't have anything for it. I just think it's a good Pokemon that lacks something special. Like Venusaur is an incredible Pokemon for its tapping in Kanto to use, and it has status moves, it has incredibly powerful attack moves. Feraligatr in Gen 4 is a genuine beast and it's so fun to use. You can basically run the entire game using only a Feraligatr with a few backups for the HMs and whatnot. Blaziken, as I said, it's an incredible Pokemon that can be run with different sets and it's up to your liking. Superior is just... I don't really have anything for Superior. I do think that its design is... You know what? No. A. Because at least I love the design and I genuinely think it's a cool Pokemon. But therefore I don't have an objective reason to consider it a Pokemon, a good starter. But Blastoise just bores me. Superior fucks art. I really love the design. I will force myself to use Superior in the next games when I get to Unova, Unima, whatever. But until then, yeah, I'm sorry. I think that it's a really cool starter, but I wish I liked it more. Until then, it's going to stay here. Then we have Emboar. Okay. So it's going to be A and not S, because this is not something I touched upon, but this was the third firefighting in a row, and this is a demeanor. It's a reason it's going to be ranked lower than I would wish to rank it, because Emperor is genuinely fun to play with in Unova. I think that Emperor in Unova is incredible to play with, is an incredible Pokemon overall, and I just like it. I just really love it. It's just a shame that in Gen 4 we didn't do another typing for Infernape or for Emperor in Gen 5. I cannot overlook such a critical flaw in Pokemon design, because imagine having the same option 3 games in a row in a series that prides itself in its variety. Like, yeah, sure, we have 3 monotype grass starters almost back to back if it wasn't for Gen 4. But at least they're not the same type, though dual type. That's an aggravated flaw. Because imagine having 16 types to play with. I don't remember the exact number we're up with fairies or what we had up in Gen 5. And just repeating the same dual option again and again. It's just a lot of fun, especially for returning players. It feels like you're repeating the same concept over and over again. So I cannot rank it in S, even though I genuinely love Ember. I always loved it. And Samurott, you have to understand something. I want to like Samurott. I love the whole thing Oshawott and Dugong were going for. Samurott discards it to the trash bin, because Dewott is full of details of a samurai-like Pokemon, and Samurott kinda recalls it with its beard, but then it drops the whole concept by making it just a seal, you know? It's just a seal, it doesn't have any samurai details aside from the beard here. It drops the concept to the trash. It's just a seal with a funny looking beard. I do want to like Samurott, and I have a fond spot for Dugong, but sorry, man. I'm sorry, I just dropped the ball. Now we have Kalos. And Kalos is going to be really difficult to judge. After all, we have so many good options. One would consider that whoever this is may be on par with Delphox and with Great... Oh, who am I fucking with? Let's not even pretend this is a choice. Cool frog ninja that uses its tongue as a cool looking scarf. Just look at the silhouette. This Pokemon has so much aura, and I just think it's too cool to go lower than S. It's not my favorite water starter type, I just think it's too neat to not be considered, come on. Then I don't remember its name, I straight up, I don't care about this one at all. No wait, that's a lie, because I do like that it's a defensive wall with a counter move like protection. But just... I want to like it more. I think the Mega is fine. Reason why it's not in I don't care. The Mega is really cool, but just for the Mega here, because the Mega is incredible with the Viking look and the axes instead of the shields and the mantle. But the base of this, I just don't. Oh, Chestnut, I remember its name. I just don't care about this starter at all. And Delphox is cute. I just don't care too much about it, but it's cute. I like its typing. I do think that the Mega that skates on the broom is incredible. Unfortunately, Greninja exists, the reason why I never picked Delphox. I'm probably going to pick Delphox for X and Y to change from the usual Greninja, but until then, yeah. I just wish it was introduced in a generation with Greninja, because I probably would have liked Delphox more if it wasn't for this fucking frog. Oh yeah, I didn't mention Mega Greninja, that's because Mega Greninja fucking sucks. I cannot believe they did that thing. I genuinely despise it. If I did consider the Mega, it would probably be here. But yeah, no. Anyway, And we have the CGI, Incineroar, and Primarina. What do I think about this trio in the Alolan games? Because I could really place it in any category. I think these starters are really well made, but there's also points of contention for every placement. Unfortunately, as I stated, I'm a very biased bitch. I am not fucking with you. I genuinely love every single Alolan starter. Okay, I'm going to admit this. I tried to hate Incineroar. Yeah, it's a competitive beast, so I wouldn't have ranked it lower than A or B, but it's a bipedal Pokemon wrestler that ruins up, I don't remember the middle stage evolution of Incineroar, the cat. It ruins the cat for this wrestler out of nowhere. I want to dislike it so much. But every time I look at Incineroar, the Italian opening of Tigerman starts. I just cannot hate it, man. I just find it funny. Reason why it's at bottom of the S, I'm probably going to keep it at the bottom of the S. The Sidgewai is objectively a good Pokemon. Ghost Grass is an incredible typing. Unfortunately, there's also the mice in the same region. I hoped it got introduced sooner or later. I love its typing, I love its design. The shiny of the Sidgewai is genuinely one of the best shinies I have ever seen, but my favorite of the Alolan games is Primarina. As I said, I have a weakness for cute and happy Pokemon, and Primarina is the type of Pokemon that would try to cure my depression in my most sad and really inconsolable days. I don't really have a particular commentary on Primarina, why I love Primarina so much. I mean, yeah, sure, it has the best typing of this entire list in Water Fairy, probably. I don't care about its objective value. If it wasn't for Empoleon, I would have Primarina. You know what? Who cares? Same spot. Okay, my favorite still remains Empoleon, but Primarina deserves the top spots. I don't care. As I said, I'm a biased bitch. Now, the Sword and Shield Galar Pokémon Starters. Can I be honest with you? I genuinely don't care about any of these. At the top, I'm keeping, I think Rillaboom is its name, because I do love the concept of secondaries between the orange mouth and the green foliage, but why are they all monotypes in the same region? And I just find them boring. I guess Sobble was cute, that it was always so crybaby and whatnot, but I have no words. I just think they're lame. I just don't care. I did end up caring a little bit for Cinderace because of the anime of Pokemon and whatnot, but if I'll ever replay Sword and Shield, I'm telling you right now, I'm boxing whatever starter I'm getting. I'm sorry, I wish I cared about this Pokemon, I just do not. And we have Hisui. Okay. Now, this is going to be hard because Hisuian, the Sidgewai, top tier Pokemon. I still prefer VOG, but I think this rendition of the Sidgewai is really cool. Typhlosion is a straight up improvement. I love its vacant, relaxed demeanor compared to the more edgy and ready to fight Quilava. And also, I love the Ghost Flames. It's still, you know what, it's still obviously the line of Quilava, so I'm going to keep it as A. But I just think that, yeah, it's a straight up improvement. I'm sorry. I prefer Hisuian Typhlosion over the OG one. The OG one is just boring. And Samurott, Hisuian Samurott, I picked Oshawott as my starter in Legend Arceus. I wish I didn't. I do think that it's better than the OG so I'm going to keep it here. But what disappointed me the most is that they finally had the chance to have Samurott as a proper samurai, and they still didn't do anything with the concept. It's still not a samurai, it's still just a fucking seal with a beard. I don't care about the shell, the Nautilus shell having a cooler color and design. It's still Samurott. There's still the design-like problems. I'm sorry, I didn't want a Samurott but edgy. I want the Samurott but a samurai. Do you get me? I do think that it's objectively a good starter, a good Pokemon, but it just disappointed me. And then we have Paldea. Now, up until a little bit of time ago, Paldea would have been in the same situation of Galar, but I have reevaluated Meowscarada. I do think that Meowscarada is actually good now. I initially didn't like it because, you know, bipedal starters I quite frankly had with them, especially in Galar, that they were all bipedal, they were all monotype and whatnot. I was generally burnt out of a type starter, but I ended up liking Meowscarada over time. It's because, well, aside from the fact that it reminds me of a Digimon, so it doesn't fit in Pokemon, but I just really like the most of the vibes of this Pokemon, because I also like Digimon, so I don't care if it looks more like a Digimon compared to a Pokemon. But the main reason is this is an incredible Pokemon for theater. Yeah, because I started the theater thingy I have going on with Aurora CDOVA, this is genuinely a Pokemon that I could consider adding to my theater. This thing would make incredible shows, are you kidding me? I will sell hundreds of tickets with this thing. I'm ready to make some money, baby. And also, as I said, I evaluated this Pokemon with time. I initially didn't like it, it would have been here, but in due time this became a Pokemon that I would be willing to use, and not discarding the trash like I did with this. And now, one last evaluation. Now, technically, Feraligatr, Meganium, and Emboar were all previously featured in the previous Pokemon games. So, why did I repropose them with these strange looking images here? These are actually drawings I made of the Mega Evolutions of the starters in the Pokémon Legends ZA. And I did these drawings both for a tier list and because I had cool ideas for the posing of this Pokemon, even though I don't like these Megas at all. Look, I am very picky with my Mega Pokemon. I should actually do a Mega Pokemon tier list sooner or later. But anyway, you cannot just exaggerate some details of the Pokemon to call it a day for a Mega Pokemon like Mega Pyroar. I genuinely don't know what they were thinking with that stupid Mega Evolution. But I also need the design overall to feel different, to matter to me, like Mega Charizard X. The color changes, it emits blue flames, the whole demeanor of Charizard is more angry and badass looking. Mega Charizard X is generally my favorite Mega Pokemon ever because it changes the design of Charizard to such a degree that it would be unrecognizable. And Mega Meganium, they just added some flowers, they didn't add anything else or change anything about the design otherwise. Maybe curved a little bit the antennas and whatnot, but Emboar is, I mean, is fine, it's Emboar but with more flames, which I did like initially, but then I didn't have any reason to use Mega Emboar compared to other fighting or fire Pokemon, so I boxed it in the end. And Mega Feraligatr looks like a fucking toy, a plastic toy. The thingy it has connected, the hoodie is just... I can see the plastic thingy to to attach that thingy, the hoodie, Totodile hoodie, so then you can lower it to make the toy look like a Totodile. A friend of mine explained to me that this as a plastic toy would not work without more modifications, at least it wouldn't work as I described it. It just looks like a McDonald's toy. I wish I liked these megas because genuinely the typing of this shoe is incredible, and I genuinely did like the mega of Ember initially. The staff is cool, and as I said, the face with the flames is incredible. I just don't. I'm sorry. But I do think these megas deserve some justice. I do think they do fun stuff and interesting stuff, and I do genuinely believe in their potential for champions and Pokemon games in general. I did not like Pokemon Legends ZA, but that doesn't mean it didn't do incredible stuff with its premise and Pokemon. I do not like any of these megas. I generally don't have any reason to use them in the game. I do think they tried with these megas, both in this, but not in design for Meganium, because it's just more flowers. But I do think they genuinely tried to give new life to Feraligatr, Ember, and Meganium, which were Pokemon of the past that were mostly forgotten. Especially since the Mega Evolutions and the regional forms they did also are to re-implement old Pokemon and give them new life. So I will consider the Megas as having new life with Feraligatr and Mega Meganium, because they also did fun stuff with these 3 Megas. I still do not genuinely like them. I did try my hardest in drawing them. I did try to give them a chance in the games, and I do think that they are just misunderstood, and they had every single bit of potential to do incredible stuff. I just wish I cared. I just wish I cared more about these megas. But I do think they deserve a special spot in people's hearts, and if you like them, if you do like these megas, if you do like Infernape, the Galar Pokemon, the Paldea Pokemon, if you like or dislike any of these starters, I hope you understand that it's fine, and I do appreciate it of you. I do appreciate that we can look at the Pokemon in this list and arrive to whole different conclusions. I appreciate that every single Pokemon on this list was someone's first, is someone's favorite, and is going to be someone's special Pokemon, both as an ace and as a starter Pokemon in general for the various Pokemon games. And regardless of my feelings about any of these Pokemon, I hope you appreciate the starters in general. Because it's not easy to do a starter. You need to consider their typing compared to one another, and how they influence the journey of a trainer, of a player like me and you. And they need to be the starting point of new players and the introductions to the games. I would say the regions, but some of these games treated old regions, so it's also important for both new and old regions, the starters, to represent them. And regardless if you hate with your guts Charizard, if you love Chestnut, I keep forgetting its name, Chestnut, or if you think the Delphox is kind of meh, I hope we all come to the realization that regardless of personal biases and opinions, everyone's starters is their own, and we can dislike them, but we all can also respect everyone's choices. You want to bring Infernape on the top? Do it! It's your list, it's your favorite starter. In mine, it's the worst, and the only reason the worst is above the I don't care is because I just don't care about them, and I prefer to strongly hate something than to just don't care. But anyway, everyone has their biases, and we can agree to disagree on who's the best starter and whatnot, non-objectively. Objectively, the best would be probably something like Swampert, I don't know. But I think it's so incredible that we can come to love and hate so many Pokemon for so many reasons. And I cannot wait to see what the Gen 10 starters will have. I cannot wait to see their final evolutions, and I cannot wait to see their typing and how much joy they will bring to Pokemon fans. Thank you for watching this video. It has been incredible to debut this PNGTuber. I hope to be able to edit this video for Friday in 4 days, because I just noticed that it's 1 hour long. Holy, I'll need to edit a lot of stuff. Oh no, I do not look forward for future me to edit all of this. And mostly, I wanted to do this little tier list also to spread a little message. Regardless of how you feel about certain starters, don't forget, your least favorite starter could be the top choice of another, and you can still hate any of these starters, but have the respect in other people to appreciate the fact that not every single person has your own tastes. Everyone will love or hate different starters, but I think we can all agree to respect them. Like, I tried to respect the Megas in Legends EA by making these drawings where I actively tried to represent these Megas as best of my abilities, and I hope you appreciate my effort in doing so. Thank you for watching, thank you for participating in my debut in this video, and if you did in the stream also on Twitch, and we will see each other next time.